Pisces, this is your weekly tarot card reading from Born Without Boundaries Tarot. It is for Pisces sun, moon, and rising signs. My name is Michelle, and I am an astrologer as well as an intuitive healer. I use my basically unique skill set, mixture of empathy and my psychic abilities to provide you with insights that hopefully empower you and entertain you, make you happy, make you smile. Quickest way to raise vibrations, right? Pisces, this week is a transitional one, and it's one where you're changing, and you're changing through your relationships with others. And the major changes this week for you are happening in your 11th house of friendships, of colleagues, of... Is that kisses? Yeah, that's my baby girl. Of colleagues, of people that you definitely care about, and that the people who form your community. I thought I saw my dog under the door. Now, what can I say about this? These are not changes that are going to feel forced on you. Even if you don't have a choice, you kind of want the change. And I think that that's the difference now that we're feeling, in that you are sort of understanding more now that you want different things than you used to, and that it's okay to also want different people in your life than you used to. There's also a sense of trying to make change in your personal life through friends, through using your community, rallying your community to try to gain support or create momentum for something. Now, this is taking a tremendous amount of energy, but that's sort of what you have to do. It's almost like because so much of this energy of change is happening in Capricorn, it wants you to pay. It wants you to work. It wants to see that you're willing to put energy in before you ask for something to come out. And it's going to make it, it's like a drill sergeant. It's going to make it challenging. The challenge is intentional, though. And ultimately, it's not something that you aren't willing to do. And I think you're, in fact, very willing to do it. Now, I just want to let you know something, or remind you of something if you already know. Mercury is in retrograde and Venus are in retrograde, both retrograding in Capricorn. So if you feel like things are slowing down, especially when it comes to communication or feeling the support, understand that ultimately that's just because people kind of have their heads in their own asses right now. And it's just until about February 3rd, probably February 9th, if you give it a week, because Mercury comes out of retrograde on the 3rd. Venus comes out of retrograde at the end of this week on Saturday, the 29th. So ultimately, we've got to let those retrogrades kind of like clear up before we really stop feeling like everything's in slow motion or that we're walking through quicksand. So if you don't feel the support coming in, I guess what I'm asking you to do is not take it personally, because it really isn't. There's just a sense of, everybody's in review right now. These retrogrades are happening, perfect timing, tax season, right? Like everybody's kind of feeling like things are coming down on them. Like, where are these bills coming from? Where are the, where are these surprise responsibilities? How do I still have this debt here or this debt? Like all of that stuff is happening now to everyone. So it's not that people aren't enthusiastic. What could happen is you start to lose enthusiasm for, or you start to get upset with your community for not showing that kind of support to you. But that's not really happening, and it will get into motion. So this is actually a good time to basically organize things and start the momentum or hint at things. It's not the time to really unveil things or release things, because it's not that those things won't work. It's that you think they're not working because the response is slow, and ultimately then you might consider them a failure. If you've already started something, please don't consider it a failure. Keep reminding people, and things will start moving forward, or hold on to it until after February 3rd. That is, especially if it's about going public with somebody, or trying to rally people's support for something. Just an FYI. because I don't want you guys to get discouraged, and I don't think you should be discouraged, but it could add to discouragement. There's also a grand water trine in the sky right now between Neptune, the moon. Neptune is in Pisces, the moon is in Scorpio, and Lilith is in Cancer, I believe. So ultimately, this is really starting to put pressure on how we feel about how people appreciate us or how they respect us, and it could ultimately make it too easy for us to get all up in our feels and start to feel ugly where we shouldn't, and start to feel like something bad is happening when it isn't. FYI. Okay, this is for Pisces. Pisces. What's going on with you guys? Life is speeding, dude, in perfect timing. Life is speeding up is in reverse. So it's almost like we legitimately got our rudders stuck in mud. Like that's legitimately what's happening. And this is Gemini energy, so it's almost like, especially when it comes to communications, things seem like they're slow to come, or they're not gaining any momentum. We just talked about that. Time to let go, but it's gnawing on your heart. It's eating at your heart. And ultimately, I think it's going to keep trying you, like that Capricorn energy really likes to make you work for it. It's gonna keep testing you, gonna keep trying you. It's almost like you got to keep repeating yourself, saying things over and over again, and it's like, well, why aren't you listening to me? It's like in one ear and out the other, and that's really getting on your nerves. Time to let go is a sense of you just want this over with. You're not really sure why you're kind of stuck here. This is Scorpionic energy. That's where our moon is right now. Ultimately, there's just some things that you're feeling that you can't put your finger on, and that is also very frustrating as well. I mean, you can feel it, you're Pisces, but ultimately you may not be able to describe it. You're not going to be especially really good with words right now. So ultimately, this is a sense of meditate, focus, try to concentrate on feeling it and not questioning it, and giving yourself that time to work, because I know you want to say it and I know you want to confront it, but ultimately right now is not the perfect time to do it. We have set healthy boundaries here. Okay, so maybe the truth is you've been wanting to say something regarding boundary setting. You know, you've been wanting to articulate to something, or, you know, in some situation to somebody, set healthy boundaries, a time to let go. Something's really weighing you down. It's been on your mind for a while. You've been wanting to tell somebody, stop, don't do this, or I really don't appreciate this. You've been wanting to really confront something. Maybe that you realize now that you've let things go too far. But the words aren't coming, or even if you have said something, it's like somebody hasn't changed their actions. Who is this person? Who is this person? Spirit has a plan, and sing your own song. That doesn't make any sense to me. To me, that's not coherent. So let me focus on this for a second. It's almost like, in some way, Spirit has a plan, is this whole situation is being watched over. It's like you can feel other eyes on you, like making decisions about you, or that you feel in some ways that you're being judged. Sing your own song is about expressing yourself freely, and letting out your truth, as well as letting out your creativity, letting out something that you created to be heard. I think that there's a lot of, I don't understand why this is happening. It was supposed to be so perfect and so right and so ready, and it was supposed to take off so well, and I was supposed to show myself to the world, and it was supposed to just click, happen. A spirit has a plan is here to remind you that this is all part of the plan, that this frustration and that these tests that you're going through are 100% a part of the process. And ultimately you are moving in the right direction, and you are being looked over and watched, but also looked over and cared for. Stay on this track, don't give up. Hold on, Pisces, I need more words, God. My words have been really messing with me too. Like, I have not been able to find the right words for anything. For me, communication has just been really wonky. Time for a deep dive. This is in reverse, underlying energy. It's almost like in some ways you didn't want to get too far into it, because ultimately you might feel run all over without being able to communicate particular boundaries or lay down specific rules of behavior. 1111, when it comes to you, there's just this sense of you didn't want to dig yourself too deep. You're trying to still sort of play it easy, and I don't want to say safe, but yeah, kind of like like staying positive. Yeah. Time for a deep dive. Like, this is a sense of, it's almost like spirit is trying to teach you to not take things so personally, right? To not go there every single time and bring yourself down, to remain on the surface so that you can remain as agile as possible and not get dragged down or sucked down. And that in and of itself is setting a boundary, so that you don't allow somebody to impact you or affect you the ways that they could if you let them. This is a sense of doing the things or surrounding yourself with things, activities, and people that make you feel free and make you feel happy and encourage your freedom and abilities, instead of those things or situations that discourage them and make you feel like you're being walked all over or taken advantage of. This is also a sense of really being ready to be released from old obligations. You know, that job that you have just to pay the bills while you're chasing your dreams. It's like, I thought it was so fucking close. I'm so ready to be done with that and stop having to divide my energy and waste my time. But is it a waste of your time? Pisces. Is it a waste of their time? I feel like we're going around in circles. I know, I get frustrated too. I get frustrated for you. Is it a waste of their time? And what are they supposed to do? Like, give advice, not a review of the situation. We have triumph, okay? You're supposed to keep moving forward. 7 is the number of work. The number of put your mind to it, set your mind to it, but put your task to it. Put your blood, sweat, and tears into it. Put some elbow grease into it. Keep moving forward. And yeah, you're getting there. It's always darkest before the dawn, and it's always the most difficult right before you reach the pinnacle, right? Because you're so tired. And really with Mercury and Venus in retrograde, there's just a sense of just feeling overwhelmingly tired, but those that keep going will get the prize. Positive movement forward. And this could be actual movement. This could be actual movement. Making a decision that you have to move in order to move on, but not being able. I just felt like establishing new boundaries, establishing actual boundaries, setting up shop somewhere else. You could be actually realizing that at this point you have to move, right? As actual positive movement forward, making those waves, setting things into motion, but going somewhere. Interesting. And maybe that's why you feel stuck right now. Or your way of getting unstuck and moving on from situations that you really don't want to confront or can't find words for, to just leave. Say you're traveling somewhere or going on vacation. Positive movement forward. Co-create. Okay? There could be positive momentum or progress made on a relationship or a partnership. Okay? So whereas one aspect of your life is slow, is kind of feels slow, there's another, co-create a change in the wind and loyal heart. So ultimately there's a sense of, yes, something is moving forward. Maybe you're moving towards somebody or going to visit somebody, or they're coming to visit you, and that's the positive movement forward. You could have just heard from them. But there's just this sense of, through partnership, you will move forward, and you'll see who is the most loyal to you and who really cares. And maybe that may sound petty, and maybe that may sound bitchy, but ultimately it's exactly what you're supposed to be doing right now, is seeing the people who really believe in you and the people who are really willing to support you. And the reason why you're taking note of that and taking stock of that is because you need to see who's going to move up with you and really who cares about you enough to invest in you. And I think that that's really important. And maybe you're trying to fight that a little bit and trying to say, oh, don't be like that. No, this is part of the process of weeding out those people who just don't belong anymore, of weeding out those people who may not be bad people. It's not like you're putting a bad label on them, but it's realizing that, okay, they don't really participate in my life anymore. And this is my chance to say goodbye in peace, and not in hatred and not in suffering, but to say goodbye with love and with gratitude for the moments that you do share and the support that you did get. But there is a sense of a change. It's also a sense of somebody maybe willing to commit. Loyal heart, a change in the wind, co-create. Maybe even a change of mind and you deciding to be a partner with somebody or take somebody into your enterprise as a partner, even though you kind of wanted to do something alone. But ultimately, there's just this sense of realizing, no, I shouldn't do this alone, right? I shouldn't do this alone. Maybe I'm not even meant to do this alone. And honestly, it will come as a shock to you. Certainly it'll come as a shock to you who ends up showing up. And it'll come as a shock to you, even especially if you weren't really welcoming partnership in. Do it. Don't let pride get in your way, full moon in Leo. I mean, that's a red flag. That's a warning sign to say that ultimately trying to be out there in front, trying to do this alone, it's not the way. Or just a sense of, but, pride. You have worked hard. And it's not that you don't have a right to be happy with yourself. But ultimately, that's a little bit different than pride, right? Pride is the bubble wrap of self-consciousness. Right? It's that protective wrap that we put on the parts of ourselves that we feel are most vulnerable and that we are most have the deepest low self-esteem for. And then we wrap it in pride to kind of dress it up as things that we feel the best about, when it's just a bunch of fucking bullshit. If we could give those things up in a heartbeat, we would, but we don't want to admit it because it doesn't live up to our own ideals. So it is about eating your own shit and facing your own crap as well. And when you're doing that, and for the people who are able to do that, ultimately, Pisces, it's those people that are going to find individuals who they can really talk to and they can really be real with, instead of putting on some fucking facade of who you are supposed to be or who you are meant to be. Instead, just be who you really are and let those people who don't accept you drop the fuck out of your life. Pride getting in your way is that sense of, I'm going to be defensive about this and continue to play the role instead of get real and get raw. right? And that could be your biggest challenge right now to your own progress. A sense of, I don't want to take anybody's help. I want to do this alone. If I can't do this alone, then I'm not really doing it, which is a bunch of bullshit, because you are really doing it, and you're going to do it even better and bigger because you've linked with somebody else's energy. Let it be a partnership. Let it not just be all you. I mean, these are all things that are really coming up and challenging you right now, and really getting at you because you feel like you're stalled, and maybe you feel like you're backed into a corner. And you kind of are, because the universe wants you to learn this lesson. It wants you to learn how to play nice with others. Everybody thinks Pisces is such a sweet sign. Not when it comes to their ambitions. You know, they don't like to compromise. They like to be the creative genius. They like to be the creative master. And ultimately, there's a sense of, you need to listen to somebody else's opinions. You need to listen to maybe even somebody else's criticisms. You need to take them seriously and respect this person's authority and this person's creativity, because ultimately that's going to change your direction. That's going to change your luck. That's going to change your ability to have to struggle so much. We have Jade Mountain here. So that is the potential for a beautiful abundance. And this is a sense of, there's already wonderful resources in your life. Okay, I guess that's some... The noises you hear in apartment complexes is fucking incredible. But Jade Mountain tells of the good things to come. And ultimately, it's got to be you that's pushing open that door. I'm going to go to tarot. I want to expand on Jade Mountain and what is to come. I love you guys, and I'll see you over there.